The day my grandfather's will was to be read started off perfectly ordinary, until it wasn't. I was running late, of course. My suit jacket hung half open, coffee still warm in my hand as I hurried toward the parking lot. The sun was just rising, painting the sky in pale gold, and my phone buzzed with messages from my aunt reminding me not to be late again. I was halfway to my car, a sleek black sedan my grandfather had given me 2 years earlier, when I heard someone call out, "Don't take that car." The voice came from across the street. I turned. A homeless man stood there, clutching a worn-out blanket around his shoulders. His beard was gray and wild, his eyes sharp despite the roughness of his face. "Excuse me," I said, confused. He took a step closer, urgency in his tone. I said, "Don't take that car." I frowned, glancing between him and my vehicle. "Why not?" He shook his head, almost pleading. "It's not safe. Not today." I blinked. "Do I know you?" He looked at me for a long moment, then said something that froze me where I stood. "Your grandfather wouldn't want you driving it." I felt my heart skip. "What did you just say?" He looked down, muttered, "Just trust me," and turned away, limping down the street before I could ask anything else. For a minute, I just stood there, confused and uneasy. The man had used my grandfather's name, or rather, implied it, but how could he possibly know about him? Grandpa Walter had passed away just last month. He'd been wealthy, respected, and private. Our family kept things quiet. Still, I shook off the chill crawling up my neck. The man was probably just guessing, or maybe he'd overheard something. I got in the car, turned the key, and instantly smelled something faintly metallic. Gasoline. I frowned and checked the dashboard, but no warning lights were on. The car seemed fine. Still, the uneasy feeling lingered. 15 minutes later, I pulled up to the old family estate. My relatives' cars lined the driveway. Mercedes, BMWs, the kind of vehicles that screamed money. Inside, the mood was tense. My Aunt Charlotte gave me her usual disapproving look. "Nice of you to show up on time for once," she said. "Good morning to you too," I replied, forcing a smile. We gathered in the study, where my grandfather's lawyer sat behind a mahogany desk, papers neatly stacked before him. He began reading the will, standard things at first. Donations to charity, the house to my uncle, some bonds to my cousins. Then he paused, glancing at me. "And to my grandson, Ethan, I leave my 2016 black sedan, but under no circumstances should he drive it until the lockbox inside the trunk has been opened." I froze. My aunt raised an eyebrow. "A lockbox?" The lawyer nodded. "It's noted here that Mr. Walter gave specific instructions. He wrote, 'Tell Ethan to look before he drives.'" A strange quiet filled the room. My heartbeat quickened. "What's in the lockbox?" I asked. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. "He didn't say. Only that it should be opened before you use the vehicle again." I felt my throat go dry. That homeless man's words echoed in my mind, "Don't take that car." After the reading, I excused myself and hurried back outside. I popped the trunk and found it, a small metal box bolted near the spare tire, with an old-fashioned key taped to it. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a small envelope and a flash drive. The note on the envelope read, "Ethan, if you're reading this, I wasn't wrong." My stomach dropped. I opened the envelope and unfolded the letter. My grandfather's familiar handwriting stared back at me. "Ethan. Years ago, I trusted the wrong business partner, a man named Victor Lang. He used our company to launder money and tried to cover it up by sabotaging my car before a major meeting. The mechanic found the tampered fuel line just in time. I never told anyone, but I always suspected he'd try again. I had the car repaired and kept it for you, but if Victor knew I left it to you, he might have finished what he started. Check everything before you drive. The truth is on the flash drive." My heart pounded as I stared at the letter, then at the flash drive. I took it inside, borrowed my cousin's laptop, and plugged it in. Inside were dozens of scanned documents, bank transfers, falsified invoices, hidden accounts, all tied to Victor Lang, my grandfather's longtime associate. And the last file was a dated photo of my grandfather shaking hands with the same homeless man who had warned me that morning. A note at the bottom read, "Former head mechanic, only one I ever trusted." I sat back, shaken to my core. The man who stopped me wasn't crazy. He'd saved my life.